Now for business updates across the globe, Rotus Odiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Doctor. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning to all of you.
Yeah.
Just two topics today, just on the international front and on the local front. Starting off with the mission for getting foreigners to promote brand Nigeria. How do you do it? Rufai and Doctor would say it's ideas, right? Getting foreigners to sing your praises in order to get that much needed foreign investment. I saw two posts on Instagram I want you to take a listen to. This is Denise, I think it's Denise Richards. She is an international real estate broker, an American, singing the praises of Dubai. Take a look at this.
You're an important. I'm not even going to go over my credentials, but I know y'all like to have receipts, especially our culture. But y'all can take a screenshot. I am the first Black American woman to open an international real estate firm in Dubai. I am not a local brand. I am not a local brand. I am a global brand. All right, so why Dubai? Dubai is the #1 most popular destination in the world. Of course, that's going to mean what? You have a profitable market for short-term rentals. How many of you guys feel safe in America? It's the #3 safest place to live in the world. No income tax, no credit check, no bank statements. I will never ask you for your social security number. Maldives 4 hours, Italy 7 hours. You're close to the world, so do you think I'm stopping at Dubai? A lot of us talk about wholesaling houses and flipping houses, but I'm teaching you how to flip the paper. Because this is a lot less expensive and it's a lot easier to be able to do that than to pay for a property $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, right? Isn't that good?
All right, so that is the business side. This is an Black American woman who is into real estate and went over to Dubai and is selling properties there. Government didn't put her up to it. She simply just talked about the ease of doing business, lack of income taxes, how safe it is. Now, that's the business side, though. This is the social side. She was on a podcast, Earn Your Leisure, two of the podcast guys that were here in Lagos a while back. And she's now talking about, she's a single mother, talking about raising her son in the same Dubai. Here, take a listen.
He is living his best life. When I tell you Destin is the man over there, they love his accent. They love his hair. While we over here trying to straighten our hair, they're like, he has the coolest hair in school. We love the way he talks. It's just, he's embracing it. But what I love the most, and he even pointed this out to me, he was like, Mom, you would have never let me be free. And by what he means by that is he actually gets to call his own taxis. When he needs to get his hair cut, he'll call a ride and he'll go. If he needs to go to football practice and I can't make it, he can call and he can go. Or he can have our driver take him. So we get to move around in a different way where he gets to actually be a teenager and walk the streets and feel relaxed. Like the police don't even carry guns over there. Yeah, teenagers get to go to the mall and hang out with their friends and not have the fear of like, you're going to be stereotyped that you're going to walk out of here and steal something. He can actually enjoy life. And so many of our young men just don't get to experience that freedom of mindsets. He can truly focus on your schoolwork, enjoying yourself, being safe, that's it. You don't have any additional pressures or fears of gangs and this and that. You know what I'm saying? Every culture has its own different things and ways of living. But I think that this is one of the most important decisions I could have made for him, is to pull him out of this environment, especially as a single mom at this stage of his life.
I thought that was incredible stuff. So she's talking about the business environment, she's talking about the social environment, all in the same Dubai, and just singing the praises. So you bring it back to Nigeria now. If you simply make the environment comfortable, you don't even need to do too much promotion. Other people will sing your praises. The government is looking for foreign investment, they're looking for business to come in. Just make the environment comfortable, and other people, without you doing anything, will sing your praises. That's on the international side. Let's come local now. This is a tweet from our Minister of Women Affairs. She says that she's trying to reduce unemployment and empower women economically. And she's doing it with apparently keke marwas and sewing machines. In practical fulfillment of my earlier resolve to reduce the rate of unemployment and also to ensure sustainable empowerment of women is the introduction of the Pink Riders Transport Scheme and upgrade of our sewing factory. She says she received the first batch of branded tricycles, which have her picture on it, and industrial sewing machines. The pilot scheme of these machines, especially the Pink Riders, will start from Abuja before we extend to other states. This is an era of walking our talk, because Nigeria's Mercedes. Check out the video.
what you are seeing today is evidence that women are now lions outside, so they'll be able to feed their husbands and their children. Anything you want to try that has not been there before, you must have to test run it. So I'm trying to test run with 30 of these tricycles. Then I will start with where I am domiciled so that I'll be able to monitor it. It's not just giving them the tricycle. We want to probably use it to show them how to save money, how to take care of their homes. This will bring peace in the homes. This will reduce nagging and prolong the lives of the women and their husbands. They are going to have 3 accounts, one for saving for future new keke, which we expect them to buy in 1.5 years, a new one. The second one is to pay back to the ministry without interest. Then the third one is the one they're using to feed their homes and take care of themselves.
Karumaraba, where the conductor now? They speak now. Karumaraba.
We have a lot of responsibilities. We have the women to take care of them. We have their rights to fight for. We have the babies to fight for their rights. We have the vulnerables to take care of. How do we think out of the box so that we can empower the women? And even when they are learning or going through training, let them be making money as they are being trained. So we decided as we go into the sewing, ready to wear clothing, bed sheets, underwears, Africanized. That is what we are going into now. We will make sure we get market across the world where these things will be sold. So this is just the samples of what we have, a few of the samples. We are starting off with these machines. We are adding it to the old machines we used to have before now, but because we need to sell it outside the country and inside the country, we need to make sure it has a good quality. And I thank Mr. President for giving me such a wonderful opportunity.
Okay, so there's 2 things here, right? Dr. Abati and Rufai and everybody watching, there's 2 things here. One, how many women you see driving keke maras? We'll start with that before we get to the sewing machines. And then 2, how many women do you know that want to drive a keke mara? We've got some female interns here who I asked, none of them said they wanted to. So if you know a young person in school, or a young person doing NYSC, or somebody looking for a job, just anecdotal evidence, if you take a poll, do you know anyone that actually wants to do that? Feasibility studies, these are some questions I just asked in terms of steps taken for these types of projects and whether or not the minister embarked on them, right? So 1, did you actually check with your constituents, how many, out of 100 or 150, how many of you want to drive a keke? How many of you want to go into sewing? Then publishing the studies and then engaging the stakeholders. Now, she was on the morning show with the 3 of you plus Ayo. Here, I picked out something, what she said about enhancing machinery and using, being innovative and thinking outside the box. Here's what she said.
So I am talking about empowerment generally. I'm preparing the children for future empowerment and employment.
Where will the funding come for this project?
The misunderstanding there.
Where will the funding come for this project? How do you hope to fund? Yes. How do you hope to fund this project?
Okay, number 1, this project doesn't even need a lot of money. There are some of these machines that are 350,000. No matter the little money I'm giving in that my ministry, I will be able to use it and achieve a lot. Then if you go to the acquisition centers of Ministry of Women Affairs, we have machines already across the 774 local governments. So what do? All I need is to enhance it, bring in a more recent machines to mix up with the older ones, and they'll start producing things that are good enough to be exported and be worn in Nigeria. That's all. It's just about plan.
Okay.
I don't need so much money to achieve all this. I'm sorry.
Obviously. Now, Rufai came up after that and asked her about the budget. And if you remember, we talked about project ambitions and reality. She threw out a figure of 64 billion naira, and we went and looked at the budget for the ministry for this year. The budget is 17 billion. Still hasn't said where she's going to get the funds from. But in terms of using new machines, I just want to land on this point. Fuel subsidies have been removed. If you drive a keke, your profit margins are reduced. I was tagged in a tweet for a product launch of a dual cycle keke, which uses gas and fuel, right? Made in Nigeria. So I'm wondering if the minister had actually thought about engaging with the manufacturers behind this to use this type of keke as opposed to the fuel-driven one that she put out. And then finally, just the challenges facing female SMEs in Nigeria. If you take a look at them, as far as exchange rates, access to finance, high interest, multiple taxation, volatile electricity supply. If you think about the opportunity cost of what was spent on the kekes and I guess the sewing machines, well, is that opportunity cost, could it have gone elsewhere? So that's all we got. That's all we got for today.
Rotus, I've been talking about the need for ideas,
right? Yes, you have.
And that's the greatest form of opposition and patriotism: criticism and ideas. I think the problem with people that do things like this is that they don't understand what value means. And I get the point. See, to a school of thought, they'll say, yeah, it's a good one. Some will say, yeah, there are a lot of women that drive keke. So Rotus might have a problematic sample size. And probably the interns you talk to, they're still, higher than the lowest class and all of that. But the question is, what's the ricochet value? And that's what we need to understand. And that's what you were just trying to point out here. The truth has to be told. What will be the ricochet add-on value? Rather than even having a sewing machine assembling factory, where now you are getting more sewing machines out for the unit price and you're getting more. And you're able to sustain a job in the long run rather than giving people sewing machine and once the sewing machine gets spoiled, their livelihood stops. And they can't pick up from there. What's the value threshold? Rather than having a keke manufacturing company where you can get to employ more people and give more subventions. Things like this, the impact of value in society can only be appreciated when you look inwards at what will constitute value to the people. And that you can also do with empirical research. And that's why, funny enough, and I think you should do a profile story on this bank, Lapo has done more for small-scale business owners and women and all of that than any government in this country would have done. The impact of Lapo Microfinance Bank. So some people, it's only Lapo they know. Because Lapo understands the endpoint value chain. So I think rather than spending money in this way, because you don't also forget, depreciation will set in that keke.
That's right.
And all of that. So rather than spending money this way, maybe let's probably have flexibility so and bring the stakeholders in. I would have rather targeted small businesses. I would have rather than these machines, aggregate a cooperative where you can make them to make garments for bigger companies and all of that, so that there's a proper value chain. So it comes with understanding value, and that's one part that we don't understand. And you see the problem. When we don't understand value, what we now do in terms of intervention programs is now tokenism.
Right.
And that's why it's not sustainable. And that's why this looks like tokenism.
A picture is on the kekes, Dr. Abati.
So that makes it tokenism.
Yeah.
As regards international promotion,
okay, yes, promotion of the Nigerian
once the
brand
economy stabilizes, automatically promoted. To see, these things you are saying about Dubai is not new. That was how Nigeria used to be promoted by the international people. The likes of top American artists came to Festac 77 and were promoting Nigeria as the new hub for theater. The Saudi royal family were the ones automatically promoting our healthcare sector. But all of a sudden, all of that died out because there was a dip in the system over time. So how can we bring our healthcare sector back to a days where University Teaching College about UCH was the number 5 best health center in the Commonwealth? So those are the things we should go back to.
Well, the major challenge that we face is a policy formulation process, policy implementation process. You have a minister of women affairs who is talking about tricycles for women, and you raise the question, how many women will want to ride a tricycle in any part of Nigeria? It's not about gender discrimination, but it's about your reference again to feasibility study. You raise a question about a sewing machine. Where we should get the money from. Now, the thing is that, look, in Nigeria, oftentimes policies are introduced, even when on the surface of it, it appears, the process appears well-intentioned, but there's no think through. When you introduce a policy, whether you say you want to help the people or you want to empower people, you have to look at the possible impact that is going to make. How much impact would buying tricycles or sewing machines for a few people? Mrs. Ohaneye is coming from the background of a politician. You know, they think, oh, what you have to do is just do something that puts you in the news.
Right.
Nigerian leaders engage in a policy-making process just so that they can have photo opportunities, so that they can have something to talk about, not necessarily because they've been able to think through the process or they have done evaluation, which is something that must be done right from the beginning, even when you are setting an agenda. Who asked the people that she wants to give the items to, whether they are interested or not? And is it going to be a donation? Is it going to be a grant? These are some of the issues we raise. But good thing, the president organized a retreat for these ministers and heads of department and agencies. We hope that with time, some of the things they must have been taught at that retreat will begin to manifest. And this particular minister, this Minister of Women Affairs, more than anyone else, needed that retreat.
Yeah.
But, you know, education is something that is continuous. That's one. Two, about Dubai. The whole issue is about leadership.
Right.
The Maktoum dynasty, that was the dynasty that turned around Dubai. It's about leadership. Sheikh Rashid and his children that came after him, you know, just decided that, look, we are going to make this Dubai an international destination for commerce, for interaction, for business, for industry, and diversify the economy away from oil. From Sheikh Rashid to, who is there now? Sheikh Mohammed.
Yep.
You know, his brother was there before him.
Yeah.
They've turned Dubai into a major destination because there was vision. There was commitment to serving the people. That's what we need in Nigeria. So that's why you will find an American lady saying Dubai is the best place to bring up children. Dubai is the best place for business. Yeah. Don't Nigerians say the same thing too? When you go to certain seminars, you find a Nigerian who say, oh, I have a house in Dubai. If you are going to Dubai, you can stay in my house. You can. They say it proudly,
yes,
in the same manner that they are not proud of their own country. So the leadership makes all the difference. Under President Buhari, we had something called the Ease of Doing Business Council, yeah, right? Okay, but that council kept telling us, oh, we are doing a lot, we're doing a lot. But what are you doing? Benin bypass. You can't pass by Benin bypass. The road is bad. In Abia State, Owerri Port Harcourt road is not good. So how do you provide ease of doing business? There's security, insecurity, people are being kidnapped every day. It all comes down to leadership. Hopefully someday we will have the right kind of leadership in Nigeria, where Nigeria too will be a place where people can say, oh, it's a good place to bring up children. Yesterday I cited the example of the Australian Deputy High Commissioner, right, saying that, look, between 2015 and 2019, from 400 students from Nigeria studying in Australia, they now have 10,000 yeah, studying in Australia. Yeah. So, ease of doing business. People are running away. And then you have the jackpot syndrome. Yep. People don't want to stay in their country. So it's all about leadership and doing the right thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.